What is going on, Colts Nation? Welcome back to another episode of Bring the Juice. Guys, wanted to talk about this video topic really quickly because this is definitely a very interesting development from a couple different perspectives here. Some Colts news going on here that Jim Irsay, Colts owner Jim Irsay, tweeted out. So we wanted to go ahead and talk about this. So let's go ahead and hop right into it. First things first, before we get into the heat of the conversation, Jim Irsay did report that Anthony Richardson's surgery in LA was a success. He stated that it was a long procedure and his shoulder injury has been repaired. Said no new surgeries or surprises, were found during the surgery. They just repaired what was expected. Anthony's doing well, and thanks everyone for the support. Stated there's presently no date for his return. Which is awesome. I mean, that was the other thing that concerned a lot of us in Colts Nation, was wondering if Richardson had something else wrong that they were going to figure out during the surgery. But thankfully, it's just what they expected and that things are all good. Which, again, we've been told is that long-term health wise, he's going to be good, which is awesome. Very happy about that. Cannot wait to have Anthony Richardson back for 2024. And ironically enough, that is not the biggest news that we just had with Jim Irsay. So Jim Irsay just went out on Twitter, or on X, I guess I should say, and stated the NFL admits and understands that they did not make the correct calls at the end of Sunday's Colts versus Browns games. Jim Irsay even goes on to state that he believes we need to institute instant replay for all calls, including penalties, in the last 2 minutes of all games. So, a couple things here. Jim Irsay states that the NFL stated that they did not make the correct calls. The officiating crew made the wrong decisions at the end of the game that cost the Colts the victory. And he mentioned it. He again stated at the end, this is what it is. And he has made it public that the NFL messed up. And that's where we're at now. Now, before we get into the gist of what that's about, I want to talk about the thing real quick. I am all in agreement of Jim Irsay's topic of instituting instant replay for all calls, including penalties in the last 2 minutes of all games. I love that. I think that's great. The amount of games that would have different outcomes should have been real outcomes because of a decision like that would be huge. We talk about this game. If that were to happen, that would never have happened. If you talk about like a couple years ago when the Saints got cheated out of a Super Bowl with the call that the Rams had on them that never got called, that pass interference that never got called, that was blatant, that would have been obvious. You talk about last year's Super Bowl, there could have been couple different things with that last second call, that holding penalty that got called on Bradbury. Like that is the type of thing where a rule of that nature would be huge for a lot of different reasons, with a lot of different games at the end of games that get altered due to officials specifically changing or not influencing the game the way they need to, which is either sometimes taking a step back and not calling penalties on everything, or somewhere they blatantly miss a blatant call. So, I must say that I'm absolutely in agreement with Jim Irsay's idea of this. Now, here's the funny part. And you guys can let me know in the comment section whether or not you agree with that rule or not. Now, here's the thing. So, Jim Irsay publicly tweeted out that the NFL admitted to the Colts that they made mistakes. So, Tom Pelissero tweeted this out shortly after this, stated, the NFL communicates with teams on a weekly basis about various calls. Team officials are prohibited from commenting directly or publicly on those discussions. Now, the team owner has publicly said the league admitted to officiating mistakes. Stay tuned. So, basically this insinuates that Jim Irsay was not allowed to talk about the outcome, which is absolutely hilarious to me because the NFL can say to these owners, to these executives, to these players, to these coaches, they can say to all of these guys, yeah, we messed up. We messed up. Or the officials that we put on the field there, they messed up. But you can't say anything to anyone. You can't say anything to anyone. You can't talk about it. And if not, I mean, I don't know what the repercussions are for something like this, but it feels so stupid that they can tell this organization that the NFL messed up, but yet they tell them that they're not allowed to say anything. How freaking stupid is that? How stupid is that? Thank you, Jim Irsay, for actually pointing it out that he said, I do not care what the NFL tells me here or not. They know they messed up. I'm going to let everyone know that they know they messed up. And the majority of the people, again, are on Jim Irsay's side because we all saw it. We all saw it that the officials were wrong. I don't care what anyone in the local media will tell you. I know from watching it myself and what the majority of other fans in this world know and watched and read by the rule book, those calls were terrible. You even had the NFL tell you they were wrong, that the calls should not have been made. So anyone that tells you those flags were valid, their argument is completely gone now because the NFL admitted they were wrong. The officials were wrong. And so the problem you now have is with Jim Irsay doing this now is what's going to happen? What, Jim Irsay gets fined? Does the team suffer because of this punishment? What's the NFL going to do? What is the NFL going to do to the Colts now that Jim Irsay did something that he wasn't supposed to do by a rule in the NFL's bylaws? What punishment gets taken of that? And yet still, the NFL will sit back and will say that once again, they feel like they have the moral high ground and they don't have to explain themselves or what they're going to do to this officiating crew, to all future officiating crews, and all this other stuff, even after an owner specifically proved to everyone that the NFL stated they messed up. What's going to happen? Is there actually going to be something that gets done? Is that officiating crew going to get punished for throwing the game? Is that officiating crew going to get fired? Are they going to get suspended for the remainder of the season without pay? Are they going to institute new officials in that are actually really full-time employees? People that you know for a fact know how to call a freaking football game? Like, what's going to happen? And I'll tell you what's going to happen. Most likely nothing. It's once again the NFL saying they messed up, and at the end of the day, you just have to live with it. You just have to live with the fact that the NFL does not care that their officials ended up screwing you out of a football game. So, again, first of all, congratulations to Anthony Richardson for the successful surgery. Certainly hope, man, that you get back to being healthy and being better, and can't wait to see you throw in 2024. That's the first thing I want to talk about. But then, of course, like I said, guys, Jim Irsay exposed the truth, and now either Irsay is going to get fined or something's going to happen with this Colts team for Jim Irsay saying something again, and the NFL is going to continue to elaborate that they don't need to explain themselves even when the product that they put on the field to judge this game ended up costing the team that should have won the game. That's what's infuriating to me. So let me know what your thoughts are on this, guys. I mean, I'd love to be able to talk with it. Maybe I'll do a live stream later in the week talking about this. I know we're about to go into the Saints game, but this is still something that's it still has a lot of traction. So Hopefully we see something good happen out of it. I doubt that it will, but we'll see what happens. But that's going to do it for this one, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. And as always,